It's a beautiful bacon day, Cookie Crusaders. Today we're going to be talking about 3 cookies that I have personally not invested in a huge amount for, and why that reason is. Now, as you know on this channel, I try to give everybody the benefit of a doubt and try to make them as good as I can, whether it be finding their team synergies, whether maybe certain toppings haven't been explored to help ignite their passion and power in specific teams, finding the best modes that they're usable for. I try to go through it all. So, when it comes to these 3 cookies, there haven't been much I can find with them, at least not yet. Maybe that'll change in future iterations, maybe we have to wait until they get magic candies, maybe they'll get stat adjustments, but I'm going to talk about these 3 and why these 3 are ones I've not invested in much yet. I did get everybody to level 60 for the epics at least, just because that was a goal of mine, but I haven't pushed beyond that because of the reasons I'm about to talk about. So Coco Cookie, as much as she's an awesome cookie, beautiful too, her damage and her healing both are just a little bit lacking. What she was really, really good for was when Sea Fairy and Frost Queen were making a huge run in the arena, back when Frost Queen first came out. Coco came out and did a wonderful job helping prevent that rundown and gave teams a chance to fight back. Not only did it give teams another tank that was also a healer, but it gave the teams the ability to stop being stunned to the absolute oblivion of things. Now, here's the biggest reason I have not currently invested in her. That team itself has not been run for a while. It's been either multi-tank teams with high damage resistance, or high burst teams, or even really high healing teams that have been kind of the main focus recently. And so for that reason, when the stun teams do come out, they're usually not so focused that you get a huge benefit from Coco Cookie. And then more so, I was considering getting more invested into Coco, but Espresso's Magic Candy happened, and when I saw that any stun immune units took extra damage, that immediately killed any chance of running Coco for a bit, because that meant that running her, Espresso would be a direct counter, and right now Espresso is extremely meta in many different iterations and teams, and so the likeliness of running into that would be very high. And so that was a big reason I did not go further into Coco. Now, as you can see, though, her HP is really high. So I think that maybe in the later iterations, like when I can get her leveled more and when I can get a magic candy for her, I think she's going to be awesome, because she can go to a very high health point without too much worry. And if we use peanut toppings on her, when peanut toppings are just a little bit stronger, then that's going to be pretty problematic for a lot of units. Espresso will probably remain her counter for the reason of the magic candy and her skill, but beyond that, I think she'll be great in later iterations. I do think she'll be adjusted at that point. But for right now, the HP and defense just aren't really doing enough to be helping out the rest of the team. It's enough to keep her alive if you have high damage resistance, but it's not doing enough for the rest of the team. And so for that reason, I just haven't really found the team to put her in that helps too much just at the current point. She's great in a few master mode stages, but that's about the relative extent of it for now. The next cookie is Chili Pepper. Chili Pepper gets a lot of hate, a lot of different hate. Chili Pepper I had hopes for, just because everyone gets Chili Pepper. But right now, I think her skill is just too basic for her to really be viable enough. Now, what she does do really well is if you pair her with Financier Cookie and give her searing toppings and use a Claire and maybe Pomegranate, and you just you buff her attack to the moon, you can almost one-shot a healer in the back using her. However, that means that you're aligning 3 cookies on your team to specifically make that one thing happen, which Vampire can basically do on his own without that setup. unless the opponent has seriously high damage resistance. So for that reason, it makes it pretty tough to work with her. The cookies that she pairs well with right now, at least if you want to use her in like story mode or something, you can run her with Oyster because of the critical damage increase. You can run the Sweet Honey Cream Crown with her because of that crit hit and the extra damage from the multi-hits in the back. You can run attack speed so that she's cooling down and attacking as fast as possible to get as much damage output. So there's some ways to kind of push her to a better limit, but not enough to compete in the meta right now. Not currently. I do really want to make a fun team with her at some point. I really, really would hope to see a Magic Candy come out with her. That would be awesome. If not, hopefully at least some stat adjustments. I think that they were adjusted a little bit, but being that her skill is just a single hit damage skill with 4 strikes, where other cookies have paragraphs of skills, it's just not enough to keep up right now. So hopefully we see an adjustment with Chili Pepper. And the other thing is that her health pool is not terribly high for other ambush and assassins. I would be willing if they would like lower her defense to give her more HP. That would be a little bit more viable and manageable because she has good attack stats at level 60, but still it could go up a lot. But that is one I've also not invested in. And then the third one has been Moon Rabbit. Now Moon Rabbit, another good tank, one that definitely fits better with speed teams. Here's the thing with Moon Rabbit. So you need to specifically land kill shots with Moon Rabbit to make it a super good cookie. And Moon Rabbit can be a super good cookie. It's just tough. And that's because the low base attack power makes it so that you're reliant on every little piece of your team specifically buffing Moon's attack so that you get those quick kill shots. Because the way it works is you get the single hit damage, which is a decent percentage. You get the self-healing, which does pretty good. And then you get 250% of the attack if the healing cake's target is a cookie. But the healing cake only heals allies if the target is defeated within 10 seconds. So, what that matters is, as you can see, Moon Rabbit recovers her own HP, jumps up and down, dealing damage to all enemies. Enemies hit with this skill will be marked with a healing rice cake. When the healing mark of the enemies are defeated, the healing cake will restore the HP. So, with that mark, you gotta think which cookie is being marked. You have to align your team to specifically target that cookie. And right now, there's only a lot of frontal and rear cookie target options. There's not a lot of mid-range or mid-field cookie targets. You can do AoE or beams or mango waves or things like that to hit those mid cookies, but getting that damage output, it's pretty tough. You can use Claudette, that's a good option. Sea Fairy and Frost Queen can do it too. But yet again, you're setting up a very specific lineup to make Moon work. And so the current teams that work the best in the arena and in some of other game modes are helping out each other. Where if you have to set a whole team up for Moon to work to then potentially heal your other cookies, you might be struggling on the healing overall and take a big plummet. Now, what I have seen work, and it's a tough setup, and it was a few months ago, so it probably doesn't work anymore, but what I have seen work is Moon and Fig combined together. That's because you're lowering the enemy's attack, so you have more time for cookies to survive, and you get that chance to just push into the front line. So, a team that I'm going to try and set up when I get the chance and get the materials will be Moon and Fig and Sorbet, and then another frontal attack unit and then a good healer in the back. The thing is with that kind of setup is it's very exposed to burst AoE. And so something like that would probably die very quickly to Caramel Arrow. Now, the defense on Moonrabbit is tremendous. So you can use that to buff the defense a lot higher. That is a route to go. But yet again, if you can't raise those attack stats, you're going to be running into a problem of the target with the healing race cakes just not perishing and it not healing the team. And if that happens, then you're losing half of what Moon's actual abilities do. So I'm not saying any of these 3 cookies are bad cookies at all. There's still ones that I definitely want to do more with. And I'm sure at full ascensions, at level 70, that maybe they'll run just a little bit better. But that's a lot of materials to invest right now for something that I can't really guarantee. I would definitely like your opinion on all 3 of these cookies. If there's one that you really think could make the cut at the higher echelons. I think if anyone has the best chance, it's going to be Moonrabbit of these 3. The other 2 I think are still in need of very big adjustments to make really good splashes into the meta. I think Moonrabbit could have a chance, but I think it would take some serious toppings, some like almost god level toppings with the min-max of stats, and also maybe even some adjustments of the overall stats altogether. Obviously a Magic Candy would do amazing things for Moonrabbit, but even still, before that does end up happening, I think there's a few things that could be done to push Moon just a little bit more viable in certain setups. Definitely in speed teams, because speed teams, if you quickly take down units, you can have some pretty interesting things happen. But yet again, thank you for watching. Love to see your feedback and comments. Hopefully this video finds some use of to you if you're thinking about building specific units, or if you're just not sure who's going to be viable or usable for you. Hopefully this can shed some light. Either way, we hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you again for watching. Goodbye.